Hello. Good afternoon. Yes, it is now officially after 12, so it is officially afternoon. Welcome. Hi, everybody. I am your hostess with all the toasts. My name is Kim Overholt. I am here at my studio, Overholt Art and Entertainment Studio, here in balmy Niagara area on the peninsula, smack dab in between the Great Lakes and sending out my signal to whoever is interested in hanging out and finding out about art with me. And if you want to know a little bit more about my art, please visit my website. I don't know if the link is below, but you can always find it in my credits or whatever. It is kimoverholt.com. I sound like I'm some kind of something, but I'm actually a whole lot of nothing. And I'm just a here that loves to do stuff and help you maybe discover a little bit of something creative in you too. So, hi, it is Monday and it's the beginning of the month. It's the beginning of a new month and the beginning of a new week. And I work a little bit later, but I thought I'd come in and say hello and let you know what I'm up to for the beginning of this week too. So it is Monday, and right now I don't have anything on the drawing board. My latest painting that I have posted on both my Art in Niagara, as well as, well, it's not my Art in Niagara. It is one of the sites on Facebook called Art in Niagara, as well as another site called Art in Canada on Facebook. If you're interested in seeing my latest painting, I have it behind me. You know what? I wanted to do maybe a little bit more work on it, but I like how it turned out, so I don't want to touch it either. It's one of those things where once you start doing something, and I do finger paintings with acrylic paints, and sometimes when you're not sure if you're done or not, you got to step away from it and then come back to it. And I figured I sign it and call it done because I don't think I can get very much detail to it, but you can gather from the picture of who it is. Well, of what it is about, anyways. And it's pretty. It's something that's meant for your bedroom. I have another one that I had that I did just recently of a kiss, and I have that one. Sorry, I have the kiss in my bedroom right now. It is very pretty and it is very nice with the very basic colors of blue, red, and yellow. I think there's some yellow in there too. Yeah, a little hint of that. And yeah, so the one that I did just recently, this is the one behind me right here. Oh, it is snowing like the dickens outside, by the way. It just started a little while ago, and now it looks like I might be able to play in the snow later on. But let me show you my painting. It's a finger painting. Da-da-da. It's called uh, Dancing with Brad Pitt. 1001, a thousand kisses deep. Yeah, there you go. Because somebody said, if I do it, somebody might buy it. So I did it, and I imagine nobody will buy it. It'll just be something for me. So you know what? If I put it up in my wall, if it's in my room, it's like something just for me. And that's the great thing also about being an artist and being able to do portraits and things like that. So that if there's something or someone you want to have in a portrait with you, you can do that kind of thing. I'm thinking maybe adding a few more different ones of me, maybe with other famous notable celebrities, that kind of thing, and see what happens. Who knows? Whatever. It's my art. It's what I do, and I enjoy doing it. So yeah. So hey, tax time. I hope you guys are done with your taxes or getting ready to do your taxes or doing your taxes at all. I don't know if it's really worth doing your taxes nowadays with the way things have been going. I would think that this month definitely commemorates the whole year of being completely, shut down. It's amazing to think that it's actually been a whole year, and a lot of people had a lot of things ready to go, including myself, which is the part of reason why I have Overholt Art and Entertainment Studio, is because I had planned on maybe doing a lot more, having a lot more to do with doing paint parties and hanging out and cheering with you guys with a whole bunch of art that I usually do. Like I would be doing black canvas parties. I'd be doing black light parties. I would be doing finger painting parties, because there's nothing wrong with doing stuff like that. I do things like cannabis and canvases, which is a great thing to do. A house party full of lots of snacks and lots of painting and a lot of good times with friends. And I've just been waiting for people to grab hold of that idea and come hang out with me and paint, But the whole thing with the social distancing has caused it to be a little bit of an issue. And for that reason, I'm just waiting for somebody to call me. And if you don't mind being with me, I don't mind being with you. There's nothing wrong with hanging out together. I don't think I'm sick. Actually, to be quite honest, I'm not sick because this has been the first year, I think, in the last year or two or more that I actually haven't caught anything. And at one point, we were worried that we were close to something, but it was all just because of mostly just being exhausted from all this like worry of making sure that you're not actually with somebody who's got some kind of bad disease, which is it's a virus. Eventually, the viruses die, and then there's new viruses that take over, and I don't understand it. I don't get it. But whatever. If you have to wear a mask, whatever. I'm not opposed to if you want to party with me and you want to wear a mask. Um, that's fine. If you don't want to wear a mask, that's fine too. Because you know what? I think well, I don't have anybody that's sick, and I don't know anyone that's sick. So, but I guess there are sick people out there, and there are also sick people out there too. So, yeah, you got to take the good with the bad and do what you have to, I guess. So yeah, so I'm just hanging out at my studio, and I try to, at least with this, give you a little bit of insight on what it's like to be an artist in these times, and see what maybe could be of interest to you. Now, like I say, I do a lot of black canvas because it's pretty easy, straightforward. It's almost like going back to the basics of drawing on a chalkboard. And I know there aren't very many people out there nowadays that really draw on chalkboards, but I do. I do. I also do menu designs at work. I do the deli board sometimes, and I also do my own stuff too, as you can see, like the stuff behind me, and my finger paintings, which I have tons of, and they are also for sale. If you want to take a peruse of KimOverholt.com or my Instagram or any place that has my artwork and have a look, because I like to share my artwork, and I like to sell my artwork to people who are interested as well. And I really enjoy it too. So yeah, I'm a little bit behind today. I usually come up around 11 o'clock, and it's already 12. So I'm just hanging out to say a quick hello and stuff like that. Now I don't have to work like usually I work at 3:30, but I don't have to work till 4:30. And I do have my blank page here, which is looking for something to draw, and I'm just thinking of some ideas. And if you guys have any idea of what you want me to draw, or any idea of maybe a different direction, because sometimes you think you're heading in the right direction, and somebody's like, you know what, you're good at that, but you should try maybe doing that instead, and then I'm up for any kind of thing that I think I could probably accomplish. Anything I can accomplish, I'd probably let you know right off the bat too, no problem. Yeah, so yeah, today is a pretty casual day. Okay, it's calmed down a little bit with the snow. It was just starting to melt too because it's warmed up the last couple days. It is March and it's getting into spring, so we should be getting back into warmer weather, but I know I've heard stories about the Antarctica, and I've heard something about the Beaufort Gyre actually releasing a lot of fresh water. So, who knows what will happen in the next few years? I'm not just a pretty face. I also am pretty witty when it comes to knowing about the world. Yeah. And with the Beaufort Gyre, if it releases anything quicker or faster than what it's doing right now, we are in for another ice age. Which, if you didn't know, we are right in the middle of an ice age too. People like to think that it's like, oh, we're heading into global warming. You know what? I love to see global warming with all the snow that's going on outside right now because I don't see any. So we'll take that global warming as not being global warming. Now they say it's something else, this climate change, and that they won't say it's actually positive or negative. They won't say it's cold or warm. They just say climate change, and give it this thing where they want to actually block out the sky. Did you hear this one? They want to put some chemicals into the air so that it blocks out the sun, so that you can't get any vitamin D and make you sick and die. Do you believe that? That's some of the rumors that I've heard going around, anyways. People who think that there's too many people on this planet. I don't understand that one at all. And so that's one of my biggest qualms. I think it's like, well, okay, if nobody's supposed to, if people, there's too many people, oh, maybe I shouldn't have been here. Maybe all those kids that maybe are living now, all those great people out there, maybe they shouldn't be alive either. I don't know. That's neither here nor there. And so, yeah, I think that, being out there is very important, and being able to show other people how to do some kind of arts are awesome. And part of the reason I'm here is to give a little bit of the lifestyle of what artists do. So as you know, I'm sitting here talking to you, and I'm looking at my ukulele, and I'm contemplating my schedule and what direction I'm heading into next, which can be many different directions, which is great. Being an artist, you have that flexibility to go wherever your little heart desires. So. Oh, and oh yes, I think I promised I was going to do a tirade. Actually, not any particular, not any tirade, but the one that I have, and it's done by Mary Louise Dreyfus, I believe her name is. Called Tirade. Just bear with me here. Give me 1 second, if I can find it. Oh, there it is. Okay, it's coming. Okay, Tirade. Hopefully, I'll find it by Mary Louise Wilson. Oh, it's with Wilson. I don't know why I said Dreyfus, but Mary Louise Wilson. Oh, where'd it go? Where'd it go? Oh, no. What are you doing? Okay, I don't know why it's doing that. There it is. That's what I was looking for. It's in my pages. Okay. That's it. Will it come up? Let me see. No, that's the monologue. That's the actual monologue that I did. I did actually. Okay, let's see if this will come up. I recorded it, and sometimes I practice it every once in a while. I love to do this thing called it's called Tirade by Mary Louise Wilson. It's pretty funny, and let's see if I can get through this with you guys together today. Okay. All right. We are becoming an actress. Okay. So. All right, let me see if I can do this. Okay. Just bear with me. All right. So it goes a little bit like this. Now I'm just making sure that I have enough room to see what the heck I'm doing. Okay. All right. So this is called Tirade by Mary Louise Wilson. I don't like to blow my own horn, but I have some standing in the theater community. I'm not exactly chopped liver in this town. People know my work. I know people. People know me. In fact, I was at a peak and all-time high at my career. I just opened a one-woman show called Trilla, an evening of song and antidote based on my life in the theater. You probably saw the reviews. Quote, benchmark performance. Quote, comedic watershed. Quote, perfect pitch. Blah, blah, blah. And this went on. And then this other show opened up on Broadway called Sick, a cancer play. And apparently the lead, Dorothy Dibble, was nude during the entire evening. Well, she in fact wore a hospital gown, but with the back open. But in the second act, she was completely nude and bald. Nevertheless, Sick was a big hit, and you can't beat a cancer play. They love it. They love watching somebody spit into a basin for 2 hours and die in the second act. Nude and bald. That's acting. Fine, I don't begrudge anyone. Each his own, I say, and hurrah to everyone. I was too busy performing to pay any attention, anyways. It was just that I didn't necessarily want to hear about her show all the time. Every minute there was somebody asking me, "Have you seen that play, Sick?" And it was just, I was recovering from my opening night when my sister called from Alabama. I and She said, "I just heard about this wonderful play, Sick. Have you seen it?" Well, I hadn't seen it. I was performing Tra-La 8 times a week, and in between, I had complete bed rest. I called my oldest friend um, in Boston uh, to come to town to see if she wanted to see my actual show, and she said, "Okay, but can you give me tickets for Sick as well?" And then there's this other thing. This old theater queen who lives in my building attacked me in the lobby. "Guess who's moved down the street?" I started to say I thought I heard Meryl Streep, but I thought I heard that she had bought a house close by. And he screamed, "Not her, Dorothy Dibble!" And I was beside myself. I arrived at my neighborhood salon. Jeffrey, the stylist, hooted, "You just missed Dorothy Dibble." Even the doorman. One night I was leaving the building. I distinctly heard Jimmy the doorman say, "Dorothy Dibble." I grabbed him by his lapel. I said, "What did you say?" And he said, uh, the poor man had a very thick accent. So when I thought he said Dorothy Dibble, he was actually saying Dorothy Jiggle, which was actually talking about the door. So I meant, but I mean, why do people think one actress is just dying to hear about another actress's work? Anyways, it's, well, why or one was one pipe fitter happy to hear about another pipe fitter's work? I don't know, but it just wasn't. It was the people in the neighborhood, of course. You've also heard of Nikki LaPlante, the stage director. Nikki's one of my savviest, most wittiest, fun people on the planet. And one night we were having one of those dinner get-togethers when he started babbling away about all the things he was doing, dropping names left and right, and it suddenly he said lunch with Dorothy Dibble, and I said, "I didn't know you knew her." I said, "Oh yes, darling," he purred. "Dorothy and I are quite close." I thought him and I were close. Now I've known Nick since we were both lobsters in summer stock production of Alice in Wonderland. I had never heard him mention the woman's name before. And another dear friend of mine, a set designer, his name is George St. George, who absolutely adores me, was telling me how fantastic I am to the point of embarrassment. He called to invite me to his annual Christmas party, and there's usually never more than 12 of us. And he said, "Nathan's coming, Marion, Meryl, and Dorothy." "Dorothy," I gasped. "Is it Dorothy Dibble?" And he said, "Yeah, yeah, Dorothy." "Dorothy," I gasped. "Is it Dorothy Dibble?" And he said, "Yeah, yeah, Dorothy Dibble. She's marvelous, isn't she?" The woman was becoming intimate with my intimates. Even my most theater, my classic theater teacher, her name's Alma Osgood, um, the famous British snob vocal coach who never goes out before quoting some kind of Shakespeare or something, suddenly starts mentioning Dottie. Everything's a breath of Dottie, Dottie, Royal Academy and Dottie, Sir Ian and Dottie, Dottie and the Spotted Dick. I'm like, I was being Dottied to death. Then one day, Alma said Dottie in the same sentence as Dame Judy, and I said, "What's the big deal with this woman, anyways?" And Alma rose to her whole 4 feet and said, "Dorothy Dibble is a wonderful woman," which was what was the implication there, that I wasn't a wonderful woman? I don't know. The thing that got me was that I'd actually seen her act. I seen her act years ago. It wasn't as if she popped out of somebody's ear. She'd been around for years, way off on Broadway, performing some broom closet somewhere. One day I happened to be in the Lower East Side and went to buy an orange, and I saw Mimi, her impersonation of Mimi Eisenhower. And all I can tell you is she was God smacked with the tedium. Uh, there was something going on up there, but I'd be damned to say if I knew what it was. All the nuance of an ironing board and the voice of Bella Lugosi. When Sick finally closed, I had assumed that this woman's fervor would be over and would wane. But boy, was I wrong. It was like gnats, an infestation. Dorothy Dibble was metastasizing like a cancer. She started showing up on letterheads and theater benefits, fundraiser committees. There was no missing her at 500 plate dinners. She was everywhere, like some ghastly perfume. You could smell it and you knew what it was. No matter where I looked, she was sounding off about climate change or saving the trees or starring in too few plays at the same time. She was front row at the New York Post. Oh, she was front page. Sorry, front page on the New York Post. Pictures showing her frantically running from one cab to another, from one dressing room to another, changing, and the AP picking up an article and ran with her all over the country. My sister in Alabama sent me the article. I had to get away. I had to get away from the city. Get away from the overinflated world of business, and everything was going to be brilliant or a bomb, a touchstone or a laugh fest, a love song or a flop. So when I closed my show, I went to Tuscany. I made friends with a lovely couple in Italy, and one night they invited me over for dinner, and I was lazily chatting with them, um, drinking blinis, and suddenly we doing some crosstalk when I thought I heard that name again, Dottie. No, couldn't be Dottie. I croaked. Ah, si, la bella Dottie. Somebody said. My hosts knew who she was. The next morning, I headed to Egypt. I had to escape. I uh, I got home. By the time I got home, Dorothy Dibble was appearing on two television series at the same time. She was running for president of the Screen Actors Guild and performing on, giving her platform on Clean Air. I opened the Times to a full page ad of World Peace where she was standing next to Desmond Tutu, which is like a long time ago. She's dead. That's the Desmond Tutu who's gone a long time ago. But Dorothy had come out about clitoral mutilation on the Charlie Rose show. And all this time, I'd never run into her, not once. Not that I really wanted to. She really didn't come face to face. I didn't really meet her in person. And the oddest thing is, I think that she knew this. And we were always just kind of missing each other. And she would always have left the party that I was already attending, or, um, we just kind of miss each other. And then one day it happened. I was sitting in the reception room of a casting office, and the door opened, and I heard a casting woman say, "Bless you, Dottie, for coming in." And then I heard a low, lugubrious voice saying, "Tell me your cute. Tell your cute hubby hello for me." And then she turned, and she was standing right in front of me. For a second, our eyes locked, and then she looked away. She didn't know who I was, or did she? Hmm. I had to do something. I could not let this woman not acknowledge me. So I ran to the elevator where she was walking towards, and I found myself yelling, "Dorothy, Dorothy, double hi, it's me, Tootie Perkins from Trilla." And she looked over at me and she broke into this blinding smile, and she said, "Oh, of course, I know who you are," she intoned, "but I didn't think you'd recognize me." "How could I not have recognized you?" I said to her, gushing. "You have that fabulous show, Sick, that I saw. And I was just beside myself that I'd missed it." And she said, "Your performance of your Tra-La was a brilliant thing. It was beyond perfection." The elevator came. I got in with her, and she continued to tell me how wonderful I was, all the way down to the lobby and out the door and down into the taxi. And we got into the taxi together, and I followed her over to a great restaurant where we sat and had a great time having a nice little bit of lunch together. I was so pumped up. I felt like I was on helium. I don't remember what happened next. We kind of floated into Speedos where, a Spido, sorry, where the theatrical crowd hangs out. I don't remember what we ate or drank. I was woozy with the praise. According to Dottie, I was spellbinding, heartbreaking. Even my hands could act. She could feel herself going into tears and tumbling over her words when she saw my head hanging, and and it was getting to me. I could feel my head hanging lower and lower into my French fries while I was eating, and then it occurred to me. I caught something in her eye, and I was like, something steely. I wasn't sure. Then she excused herself to go to the washroom, and it was then that I kind of came out of my haze, and it hit me. She was trying to kill me with compliments. I felt my gorge rising. I had to fight this. I could not go under again. I had to stop her. Then she was making her way back, and I seen her talking to like Liv Tyler, and I seen her talking to Jennifer over there, and her made her way back, and she was having that big blinding smile again, and I felt myself turning to jelly again. I had to fight back. I grabbed her jowls. Your face is a benchmark of emotion, I yelled. Not since Brando has acting style been so completely altered by a generation. I didn't know what I was saying. I felt lifted by an old Brad and Bradley review, not necessarily her review, but I said, your scenes of watersheds are splendidly explosive and searing gestures. I just love your acting. She began to wobble. She was faint. I need air, she gasped. I let go of her cheeks. We left the restaurant and fell into a cab again, and I walked her all the way down to her apartment. She called me a legend my own time. I called her the deuce of the day. We had no idea what we were talking about. The cab pulled into her building, up to her building. We wrestled each other out the door, and she said, age before beauty. And I grabbed her and I said, great bones. And I threw her out the cab, and we went to her apartment. And she hissed at me, uh, I'd give anything for your beautiful hair. And I twisted around and I grabbed her by her ankle and I said, you are incredible in that scene with the doctor. And I groaned. I'll never forget the way you moved your hand when you were telling that story about your nephew. And I butted her head against mine really hard. It was maybe 2 or 3 seconds when we finally came to. I passed out, and when I looked around, I realized she was reaching for something, a gun maybe, or a poster for me to sign. I don't know. I reached up blindly and felt for something heavy, and I managed to turn around and screamed, that thing you did with your IV drip was hallucinating. And I clobbered her with her own Tony Award. She dropped to the floor like a felled tree. I was getting closer. She didn't seem to be breathing. Dorothy? Your timing is impeccable. Dorothy? Can you hear me? Dorothy, you're luminous. She didn't stir. I moved quickly to remove my fingerprints and wipe off the Tony, and I put it back on the shelf and opened and closed the door with my napkin on my hand. And just as I was leaving, I looked back and said one last thing. Dorothy! Remember that thing you were doing when you were fiddling around with your catheter and wailing at the top of your lungs? You really stank it up! And then let myself out. Anyways, that was my tirade. It was awful. That time I was awful. I did better the last time I did it, and this one was a little bad. But I appreciate you listening. Oh, hey, gotta try it once, right? It's been a while since I actually did it, so as you can tell, I'm pretty rusty. But the more I practice, the better I get at it. So, yeah, it's pretty hilarious. I love that one. I love tirades. I have a tirade of my own that I like to do. It's called screaming at the top of my lungs and throwing myself at things, which I plan to do right now. I've talked to you for almost a good half hour without even batting an eye at trying to get into a nice little picture here. So I'm going to start either A, maybe making another painting, or B, doing a nice back to the drawing board drawing. And in the meantime, I appreciate you hanging out there and having fun with me. I know you're not, but I do appreciate it just the same. And I hope you have a great day. I'll come back and do this again and maybe show you the things that I'm up to next, because I do have more stuff going on in the background that I let know a little bit later. In time, you shall see. And you'll be happy and grateful, and I don't know, I'm just making it up. Anyways, yeah. I hope you have a great day. Yeah, thank you.